Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, Off-Grid Investor. This is Dolph. In this video, we're going to talk about CCIV stock whole time. So let's don't waste our time, let's get right into it. So Bloomberg news came out. Like I bought this spec in the first place when the Bloomberg news, first came out. What is this Bloomberg news, is all about? Bloomberg is quite, I would say, kind of reputable, in my opinion, but not all the time the Bloomberg news is is correct. So, but the giving it that the credibility that they were the first one to even talk about this CCIV news first in the in the first place. So keep that in mind. So this news, we'll see how it turns out. They were saying on Tuesday they'll the merge date and merge thing and that will happen. But do you remember, like I mentioned about the kind of unusual kind of sell-off, we had on Friday? That totally now it makes sense now, yeah. So like, why did it happen? So now you know that. Remember that was like the kind of, I told you there were, I was thinking, there was a lot of volume when it dropped, but initially my thought was, like, oh, like a lot of people day trading. I mean, it is true, but that kind of volume, I think, like there is like the big institution behind this one, the trading this one. So with that being said, the big money behind it is already, like they knew about this one. Like they pushed this news, on the Saturday. So somebody wrote this article. So somebody, like already knew about this. We're talking about the big, the money behind this one. So in the case, there is a little, yes, money, like money, market manipulations, with the big money. So, I mean, but, you cannot help it. I mean, this, these things happen everyday basis, Then, what's the next play like that we can do? So like, I have mentioned this one all, before, like how many of you have lost, the trade in Tesla before? So we can kind of apply that mistakes, with this one, in my opinion. So I definitely have lost, trading Tesla before. And you have to ask like why and how? How can you lose money on the stocks that went up to like 2,000, the percent? But simply, like, because, like you don't want to lose much, when it dips a little bit, people, what people do, they do sell it. Or when it drops like a lot, panic selling. Yeah, that's the case. So with this one, to keep that in mind, like if you're into this trade, do not panic sell it, especially on Monday and Tuesday. This one is going to be crazy. This one is going to be bloody battle. I can tell you that. So be prepared on Monday and Tuesday. And if you're already, like in this one, think about this one. Like you are already committed, with this the trade at this point. So from now on, it is a kind of more like kind of psychological game now between everybody. In my opinion, it is. And everybody will try to, to play each other, including big, institutions as well. But by the way, like if you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button. It looks like this, thumbs, and subscribe it. I appreciate that. But the previous video I mentioned that I definitely want to own this stock, for the long term. But whether this merger will go through with this spec or not, it means I'll be keeping it up, this Lucid model, the news with you all. So keep that in mind. So back to my main point. So what's your, what is the scenario that it can happen on Monday? So you guys, like the important thing is, do not lose your money on this trade. So there is the big chance, I think, on Monday, this price will go up higher on Monday, and we'll see how the pre-market goes. We'll see. But important thing is, do not put too much money in. I've been keep on, telling you this one same thing. It's like, especially for one that, who have not involved in this since the price was, like like little over like $10. Well, actually $14. That's where I got in. But if you're getting into now, like you need to know what the risk you're getting into. Just if you're just getting into now, like you may not have as much as gain like as somebody who's been, investing it from like a little over $10. So to keep that in mind, which is like the very crucial point, because you're if you have followed me in this channel, I'm all about the timing, like when you get in. And like I mentioned, for example, like Bitcoin, that I made a profit and it sold, on my position at 37,000. But look how what is the CCIV now? 58 like thousand or something, like last time I checked. But if I feel formal of myself, like I should buy the Bitcoin right now. Think about that. But I do believe the Bitcoin will go like much higher than what this one sets it. What I'm thinking is like maybe like around 60,000 or 70,000. Like even by the summer, I can definitely see that happen. But when you think about that, that's like about like what 10-15%, like the 20% maximum it is going up. But there are hundreds of stocks that go up like more than 50% every single day. Look particularly, like Palantir on Friday, what had happened, like it went up like the 18% on Friday. But if you see like like I made like pretty good, the gain, but I don't really care about that, the much, because that's my long-term position. So that doesn't really make me feel better, in other words, because that money will sit there pretty much. But for little trades, I do like here and there, some profit that I make. Sometimes I do spend that, and that's what makes me make it is fun for me. So that's what I do. But simply just do not put too much the money in there. So everyday opportunity in the stock market is there. So get a small gains, and but many times a small gain is what is important, in my opinion. So keep that in mind when you trade this CCIV on Monday. And what I was gonna say is like your time will come. Like same thing with the Bitcoin. Of course, I'll let you guys know when I go into the Bitcoin again. There is no doubt that CCIV stock will go, jump like significantly on, like on Monday with this news, in my opinion. Especially if after Tuesday, if it turns out to be, the correct news, this stock will, skyrocket it. I can definitely say, but like how much do you think it is going to go up? That's what everybody needs to think, So if you're holding on to this position, you also have to think about the risk that this news may fake news, or this may, the merge deal may fall through. Then who's playing this one behind? So we'll see who's playing this one. But like I told you, this one can be like epic fail if that happens. But those things happen in the stock market. I can definitely tell you that. Second thing is, if you're not gonna sit in front of the computer for 8 hours on Monday or on Tuesday, or if you don't have like that kind of even time to deal with it, and if you haven't like invested in like early stage, like the $10 or $20, whatever, my recommendation is just do not touch it, unless you want to like this risk just a little bit of money and see how it goes. Because what I see is like there are so many other options, there elsewhere. That's what I wanted to share my thoughts on that. But let's say if the news comes out positive on Tuesday, or at least like the near future, let's say. So I'm sure that the price will like jump really significantly. And how much do you think this the price will go up? So when you actually gain it from when you the jump in, so when do you want to like to cut it? Yeah. So profit taking the profit right away. Like what is your the price target on this one? So that's what I wanna talk about this one. So it is kind of like from that moment, it is kind of like psychological target price that you need to kind of have, especially when you're winning on this one. Like let's say if it jumps on Monday or Tuesday, right before the news, everybody's like thinking about the news is gonna come out. But then I'll tell you my secret, but don't tell anybody. Mine is a 75. And when it reaches the 75, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take maybe 25 to 30% profit off of it. If it does reach, the 75. But if you ever follow me on this channel, you know like how I executed this one. It doesn't mean that you cannot go back in. I also want you to think about that, but if you do, you will have to find another price, the point that like you feel comfortable. But don't jump in just because, like, let's say if it goes down to like to 20% or 30%, thinking that you're gonna hold this one for long term, and you may think, oh, this one came down to the bottom floor, or you can say, like, oh, this one it's not even bottom floor, it came down to like the basement. This is right now. It's a good time to buy it, but then what happened? Yeah, there's gonna be second floor basement. There is going to be third floor basement, I can tell you that. And you know what? Below the third floor basement, yes, like the burning dungeon is where it's going to be. So why am I talking about this? I'm not trying to scare you, scare everybody. But the thing is, you need to have, when you go in, when you put initial thing, like the money in it, then you will have to at least have kind of psychological bottom line that you'll have to kind of set it yourself, so that you don't lose much, like, because you can add it up a little bit more, if that's what you're planning on to. But what I'm trying to say is, like, you need to have at least 2 or 3 strategy in your head, like saying, like, you remember that what I did on Friday with this CCIV, it went up to like around, as soon as the market opened, like it went up to like the 62, and then I had like in my head, okay, if it goes up more than 62, that's what I was waiting. But it was coming down, and it was touching the 50 moving average. So I mean, it was a very hard decision, but I was like, okay, I'm not going to deal with this. And then I cut it, and I only just like put the half of it. But after that, I didn't even look at it. I didn't even look at the screen. There was no reason for me to even look at it, because like for me at that point, I was like, okay, whatever it happens, whatever it happens. But that's what you need to have some kind of like the plans in your head. It's like how you're going to play this one. And another thing is like that I wanted to mention, like the Lucid motor. I like it, I can tell you. But the thing is, don't fall in love with this Lucid motor, because it'll blind you. Because especially this one is a young one, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a young one. So we have a long way to go to see like how the company is going to do this year. And when it comes to the delivery, the data, and something that, I'll be watching carefully, this is something, the factors, like the percentage of profit margin, like what the company is going to come out with. Of course, the delivery data, we'll have to look at that, and like how much money they're going to burn, because this company is not going to make much, like this year and especially next year. So we're talking about operating expenses, how much money they're going to burn like this year's and next year. So company will lose quite a money, but at least for this year they're just they're going to go like of course IPO, so there's going to be a lot of hype. So it'll settle down with some kind of the price range, in my opinion. Then then we'll see how this one is going to react. So according to that, you will have to give a little bit of time to settle down, and you will have to feel the comfortable buy-in points. But I'm sure we'll talk about that many times in this video. So the next question that you probably want to ask is like, this is EV the play. So how many EV stocks do you own in your portfolio? And what is your biggest EV stock you own right now? Then, the company with this, like this Lucid, in my opinion, the NIO and Tesla have a better the options at this point. I mean, you can tell me whatever on the comments below, but in my opinion, that's what I think. At least for at least this year and the next year. So unless unless there is like the big market crash, everybody's the fear, everybody has a fear. But I'm in this stock. If it merges, whether this one, go through this spec, particularly this spec or not, when the the Lucid motor, like finally IPO, then I'll be in this one, for the next 5 years. So we will have to go with the different strategy after that once it kind of settle down. That's what I was gonna tell you. So this is a kind of like, after that it's going to be a little long, the long-term kind of play. But with the $15 valuation they're talking about, they can at least burn that money for at least 2-3 years. I can tell you that. Yeah, don't you think? So if it is not very successful, I mean, if you're holding it for long term, I mean, yeah, like who cares? You're in this, the EV spec for the reason. So, if you kind of hold it for 5 years, the next 5 years or 10 years, and if the company survived through, but think about it, how the Tesla was, they almost went bankrupt as well, but of course they survived through it. So, that's something that you need to kind of think about. But if it does, I'm sure this will go much higher than what is sitting right now. Because and especially when they start delivering more than like 500 thousand delivery or something by 2025 or something like this, what they were the planning on. So we're talking about the same as the Tesla's the market cap right now, and you think about it, where is it at? So I see the great the future in this one, but like play for the next 10 years, see the bigger the 20 years, and of course, like if you die before that, your children will have it, or somebody your loved one will have it. So that's what you need to see it long term. That's what I wanted to tell you in this video, and that's it for today's video. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time.